turn one. Side by side with the race lead. Meredith's going to stick with the 24 machine of Snyder. Peach gets a little wall. Gets a little Adams into the inside. Side traps in lane 3. Adams is trying to pull the Slider. Side by side on turn 4. They're going to make a little bit of contact. Parker, does he have enough fuel? Can he get the run off turn 4? Kyle Todd in the race lead. Does he have enough? Into 3 and 4, both these drivers both saving in the entire run. Can he stretch enough fuel? Parker loose on the bottom. He's going to lose it. Kyle Todd, he's going to save enough fuel. He's going to win at Fontana.
Have to keep an eye on it. Just about he's going to get a good run, but Parker's going to shut the door. Behind him, there's Porter and Moreno.
Moreno's going to dive on the inside. They're making contact for lead with Porter and Moreno. But Parker, he's going to have a run. Does he down in 3? He's going to go 3 wide. 3 wide for the teammates for the lead. Drag race to the line. Janet Porter is going to win it. Libby goes right off turn 2. Happy goes right as well. Big Crack is behind him. Cole Snyder is going to win the season opener at Atlanta. Down the back straightaway, here comes the outside lane. Cole Snyder getting pushed by Cody McCorkle. Nathan Lehman in the lead on the bottom with Giovanni Klein pushing. Zachary Meredith right there in third. Coming to the trial one more time. It's Nathan Lehman. Klein going to try and pull the side trap right at the line. Nathan Lehman is going to pick up the win. Moreno tries to clear. Almost clears themselves, making contact with Klein. Klein gets to the wall.
Oh, Adams! Tell you what.
A big move.
What a move there.
Ryan Parker, side by side, to the line. It's going to be a drag race. They both went out. They get pushed by Happy Egg across the line by 1/1000th of a second. But Jonathan Parker, he locked it up in the end of stage 1. Jonathan Parker, our season 5 champion. Hello and welcome. Tonight we start the championship 4 round. Tonight we're here at Michigan for the NAOR Cup Series Season 6 race number 24. Tonight we start the round of 4, and over the next 3 weeks we will determine who will be our champion. Tonight, welcome to Michigan. Hello, I'm Aaron Brown, and so thankful if you are to join us here on tonight here on the Legends Racing Network. As currently we're just wrapping up DI9 Designs Pole Award qualifying, and pole qualifying. It looks like currently on top of the board, it is the 17 of Zachary Meredith, but no one else currently out on the racetrack right now. So currently we're still waiting to see. How this rest of this qualifying will go. Steve Maggio, Gable Tahari, and Sam Wade are the 3 drivers yet to say a lap time, and the only ones that could take Zachary Meredith with a 37.568 off the top of the board currently for now. So there is, as you'll see, there is the leaderboard on the left side of your screen. Zachary Meredith with a 37.568 currently on top of the board, and currently looking to try and take this DI9 Designs Pole Award, and no one else will have enough time to complete a lap. So that means Zachary Meredith will be your DI9 Designs Pole Award winner here tonight from Michigan. So Zachary Meredith will be our pole sitter tonight for our opening race of the Championship 4 round. So as is, apologies for the lack of paint skis right now. Currently working on those. Currently having some technical difficulties to start tonight. Apologies for those. Currently Zachary Meredith on the pole for tonight's race here from Michigan. Tonight we have 96 laps for these drivers to determine who will win this race tonight. They will be looking strong for the rest of this championship. While these drivers are getting up, let's take this opportunity. We'll take a look at our Coulter's Cards starting lineup here tonight from Michigan. And starting on the pole with a 37.568. This is 17 of Zachary Meredith. Alongside him will be the 43 of Matthew O'Brien. Starting third tonight will be the 5, Giovanni Klein. Josh Arnold in the 22, who will start 4th. Starting 5th will be the 48 of Jonathan Parker, and Jose Rose will start 6th. Starting 7th will be the 81 of John Osborne, and Chase McGuire will start 8th. Starting 9th will be the 71 of Mike Campbell, and Cole Sanders around at the top 10. Starting 11th tonight will be the 15 of Mark Kissweather, and starting 12th will be the 72 of Gable Tahari. And starting third, we're trying to, and ATO has decided to crash on me. So, apologies for that. But starting 13th tonight is the 51 of Steven Maggio. Kyle Taub will start 14th in that 3 machine, and running out of 15 car fuel team tonight is the 27 of Sam Wade. Now the pace car rolls off. We're getting ready to go racing here tonight from Michigan. To roll off for the championship for. They're to decide over the next 3 weeks who will win the championship.
Hang on, we're not going green, not going green.
And it looks like my sim has decided to crash. So apologies for these for delays. We'll be right back here from Michigan. apologies for the technical difficulties. But currently we're underway here from Michigan. Lap number 9 here so far. Currently on lap number 9 of the night. Zach Ramirez still is the leader from the pole position, only by about 4/10 of a second over Matthew J. O'Brien in second place position. Currently right now, John Parker in third, Josh Arnold in fourth, Shabbat Klein in fifth, Chase Brewer in sixth, Mike Campbell in seventh, Cole Setters in eighth right now, Mike Kisswan there in ninth, Steve Maggio in 10th, Cruz, Osborne, Wade, and Todd right on the rest of the field, 11, 12, 13. Todd is out of this one tonight so far, as he is currently is not taking a lap yet. Only everyone single file for now, but now we do have a battle side by side back here for about that 5th place spot right now between Josh Arnold and Chase McGuire. Off the turn number 4, Josh Arnold holds that position for 5th for now. Tonight is also the opening round of the championship round here within our Cup Series Season 6. Tonight at Michigan, tonight we have 96 laps, and next week we will be at Bristol for 220 laps, and at Charlotte, we'll be back at Charlotte on November 21st, 132 laps to end out the season. We have crowned a champion in 3 weeks' time. As the final four in this championship battle are going to be Jonathan Parker, who's our heads-up favorite all season long. Currently sitting in third right now, Jonathan Parker. Cole Center are next in line, or kind of our second seed from the night, but they all are tied. Josh Arnold as well in our final in tonight in this battle in championship. Jonathan Parker looking. Currently, Zach holds the lead right now by only about half a second over Matthew O'Brien. Not much happening currently on the racetrack. There are a couple side-by-side battles, and everyone kind of just single file right now. Weren't able to make too many moves just yet. They kind of fan out spread a little bit, but that's about all they do. They're not really making any moves just yet. Because now Chase McGuire actually needs to be outside of Josh Arnold here down the back straightaway. I don't want to stop back in line. So now Chase McGuire will take it. The top 6 kind of pulling away a little bit for now, and so far have about a half second yet for the back bumper of Josh Arnold to the front bumper of Steven Maggio. A half second to the top 6, kind of pulling away just a little bit. Kind of a couple car tandems. throughout the field right now. Zachary still leads the field. Up front leg, of a second. Shot at the Parker. Drives it out in the corner, tries to get to the inside of after game. Brian again. Now this time Lyle with 79 laps second. Now last year we got a little move back here from 6th place. The Magic has the inside of Chase McGuire now. He'll make that move through 3 and 4. Good slide up through the corner. Slides up in front of Josh Arnold. Takes the spot away, but Josh Arnold can fight back in the outside lane. A good run off the corner. They stay side by side down to the turn number 1. Maggio on the bottom, going to try and drive it in deep through the corner. Just slide up in front of Josh Arnold. Going to be able to make it happen. Oh, but he's going to get loose. Stevie Maggio gets really loose. He's going to save it. What a save for Stevie Maggio. He'll fall back. He'll fall back behind Marcus Withers. He'll fall all the way back tonight. Looks like maybe you got to pack the air in the back bumper. Josh want to pack the air in the back bumper for Stevie Maggio. And it sits him around. Oh, it sits him around there. Side of Giovanni Klein, not going to be able to do it just yet. But here goes Josh Arnold out that back foot. Josh Arnold trying to get to the outside of Chase McGuire. Set up in that top 5 spot. This field is really starting to close the gap back into each other right now. Everyone's clean and green right now, but Jonathan Martin is starting to fall back a little bit now. I saw it starting to fall back a bit. They're side by side. So Josh Arnold is right now. Jonathan Barker working on the inside of Chase McGuire now as he's going to slide up in front of Marcus Withers. Just bring the draft down to the field lane. Chase McGuire way up the racetrack. We're starting to see the really outside lane start to work now. Zach still leads the field currently, but side by side here, Jonathan Parker trying to work back up into that top 3. Now he's under attack from that Mark Kissenweather. He still holds on, but Jonathan Parker working the inside lane. Still struggling to make something happen on the bottom. Side by side here still with Jonathan Parker. So that'll for that 6th place spot. Josh Russell, one of the championship drivers. Looking to try and get more points that Jonathan Parker really wants to try to get as much advantage over Jonathan Parker. Jonathan Parker easily the favorite. The defending champion. This is the battle between the top championship drivers right now. Well, Mark Kissenweather, Jonathan Parker, and Josh Arnold all next to each other pretty much right here. So Josh Arnold starting to fall back a little bit. I also did have some stage points up a few laps ago, lap 24, also lap 28. That could also play a big factor as well. Crucial stage points can make the difference in who wins the championship. Now to the inside of Mark Kissenweather, still side by side here down the French straightaway. So Mark Kissenweather trying to work the outside lane, trying to get to the outside of Chase McGuire, trying to get an extra car buffer between him and Jonathan Parker. Imagine down at the bottom. So also give an extra buffer. Now, Marcus right now looking strong over Jonathan Parker. Wants to try and get as many points as possible. So he has a buffer going into Bristol. Strong for the next 2 weeks. The battle for this championship. Working the outside lane now. Working is strong, but that seems like Travis seems to be the big importance because Zach Meredith and Matthew O'Brien, they qualified on the front row. They have just stayed up front all night long so far. Down the back straightaway on the back bumper, Chase McGuire. Still trying to work that outside lane as best as he can. He's working and going pretty much the highest up on the racetrack compared to anybody else on the racetrack right now. I think Brian though looking down there after that pivot here is now 30 laps into this run. Tire were a really big factor now. Not much has really changed. We haven't been able to make too many moves just yet. Maybe a couple shuffling of positions. So it's just slow moving, slow shifting of position. Single file through the rest of the field right now. Bryan goes to the inside. Zach Meredith comes down pit road, so he makes his first stop of the night. Now Zach Meredith, he makes the first pit stop last time by. Now Matthew O'Brien, everyone else going to come down pit road. It looks like half the rest of the field comes down pit road. Tronic Lion is currently now the race leader, only by half second over Jonathan Parker. Where does Zach Meredith, where does he come out as? Now he's right off of pit road. Looks like he's a little slower onto pit road here. So he's a little bit farther back. Slow stop. Usually you only lose about maybe a lap and maybe a couple seconds. He's a little bit farther back here, so maybe a little bit slower on pit entry. There goes Tronic Lion, going to get hard to race. Same with Jonathan Parker and Josh Arnold, and everybody else comes down as well. But Jose Ruiz spins around. Cole Snyder also spins. Cole Snyder, one of our championship contenders, and he speeds on pit road as well. That's going to end his night if he doesn't get a caution. But everyone down pit road. Now where does Zach Meredith, where does he cycle out compared to Matthew O'Brien? Everybody else in front of him. Matthew O'Brien way out in front of him now. It's Matthew O'Brien actually 3 seconds out in front of Zach Meredith. The gap's going to come a little bit closer to 2 seconds. He's farther back in traffic, but Matthew O'Brien with a really good pit stop. Out in front by a second and a half from Mark Kissweather. Now where does everybody else come in on pit road? Here comes Jonathan Parker. Now Matthew O'Brien is going to easily storm by them all. A great pit stop for Matthew O'Brien here. His first stop of the night, and he is clear by the rest of the field by a second and a half. Everyone's going to have to try and work together here and try and chase down Matthew O'Brien. Try to draft each other. Jonathan Parker now, he's up to third, so now he leads our championship. Actually, no, he doesn't. Marcus is just in front of him. They are second and third. They lead each other. Lead the other two. Zach Meredith and apologies. Cole Snyder and Josh Arnold. Cole Snyder really the losing end of that pit cycle there, as now he is really slow on pit. Yeah, and I think a penalty as he sped on pit road, spun out as well, so that also slows down his pit stop. These two are battling for that second place spot here, though. Mark Kissweather on the outside, Jonathan Parker on the bottom. Parker works to the inside of Mark Kissweather. So they will stay side by side. Jonathan Parker, Mark Kissweather is still battling for the second place spot. They're actually now only about a second back from Matthew O'Brien, but a really good pit stop. Maybe the undercut right was a little bit better on pit entry and exit. Now the track position as well, and they able to gap the rest of the field by a little bit here. So looking strong right now for Matthew O'Brien. Out lead by 1 second. Still a long way to go here. Left in, still a long way to go here in Michigan. Closing into the halfway point of this race. Most of the field still kind of together right now. Matthew O'Brien, he's now losing time as now the rest of the field just drafting up to him, but he's going to have that clean air advantage. He's trying to air block the rest of the field. So far, the top 8 is pretty much, the top 8 are kind of together. So maybe a half a second difference in the backs. The rest of the field is really separated there, so it's really kind of this top 8, but right now, mostly just this top 4. That's about 8/10 back. Zach Mann in 5th, and Josh Arnold, kind of a 2-car tandem in the Vishwani line, and Jason Wireless, a 2-car tandem there as well. That's Matthew O'Brien, our race leader now. He's going to be under attack from Jonathan Parker and Mark Kissweather down the back straightaway. Parker getting pushed by Kissweather down in the turn number 3. Parker's now closed the gap to Matthew O'Brien, so O'Brien with a great pit stop. The gap is unfortunately away from him, but he still has another pit stop to go, as these drivers will have to make 2 stop races tonight here from Michigan. So now lap 32, so they can go to about lap 64. Actually, going to make it a little close if they can go to 32 laps, so it's going to make it a little interesting on fuel here. Be close on a 2-stop, maybe a little bit closer on a 3-stop race here. We'll have to find out. Now, Marcus with a rip in the outside wall. He's been pretty much the highest driver all night long, just staying on the way outside lane there. Number 2 right now so far, Jonathan Parker falling back to 3rd, Matthew O'Brien sitting in the lead as Mark Kissweather sitting in 2nd currently. These top 4 pretty much all together now. Matthew O'Brien currently sitting top 4 flew away by a 1.5 seconds compared to the rest of the field. Now it's turning into a little about 3-car tandem as Giovanni Klein starts to close in on Josh Arnold. That battle, but Josh Arnold now down the back for a second. They're trying to work together to catch up to the top 4. Turn number 2. O'Brien looking under attack here from Mark Kissweather. As Kissweather really working it outside lane, just trying to stay in the clean air. It's working out very strong for him right now. As he goes to the outside wall. I usually don't see that here in Michigan, but it's not worked there in 3 and 4. Now here comes Kissweather down to the bottom. Going to get side by side with O'Brien here. Now it wasn't even making work in 1 and 2, but here comes Jonathan Parker with a really good run. He goes down all the way down to the bottom. Tries to get to the inside of Matthew O'Brien. Now after they don't make it happen, Mark Kissweather goes to the outside. They're going to stay side by side. Now they single file it out. With a really good run with the top lane, off the turn number 4. That time by, they were halfway, and that marks the end of stage 2. So Matthew O'Brien will win stage number 2, and Jonathan Barker does not get more points than Mark Kissweather there on stage points. So Mark Kissweather looking strong to try and become the points leader if he can try and build as much points as possible for these final 2 races. But out of the outside wall goes Mark Kissweather. Jonathan Barker wrapping that inside lane right on the yellow line. Jonathan Barker not able to make it happen. He still slides back to 3rd. But now my worry for Matthew O'Brien is only about 32 laps on fuel. Everyone's looking to make it to about 32 laps to go for their next pit stop. To make it only a 2-stop race. So they're looking to try and go another 15 laps from here on out. So yeah, right now we have been 15 laps, so it looks like they'll be good on a 2-stop strategy with these drivers. Marcus, whether he's got to run down in the turn number 1, he's going to take it to the inside, going to stay side by side with Orion for the race lead. Down the back straightaway. Just went to the inside lane. Can he make the move into 3 and maybe clear up for the race lead down to the 3? We're going to stay side by side, but Kissweather fights on the bottom. Is it going to be enough to clear for the race lead? Don't know if it will happen. Yes, it will. O'Brien's going to be stuck behind Mark Kissweather. And now the bubble's going to maybe just stall him out a little bit. But now he's going to get enough to run. He's going to go back to the outside here in 1 and 2. Kissweather, he's got the nose out in front. He can try and pull the slider again, but can he power around the outside? No, he can't. Kissweather clear for the lead. It looks like O'Brien now is going to be stuck in the dirty air. It's going to be tough for him to get back by, but Mark Kissweather to the race lead here for Michigan. O'Brien will try to fight back on the bottom. So he gets a little bit of the wall off of turn number 2. Bad corner exit there for Mark Kissweather. Now Matthew O'Brien with a run down at the bottom into turn number 3. He's had an opportunity. He will take it now down in the turn number 3. He's going to slide up in front of Mark Kissweather. He's not going to be able to clear though. They're still going to be side by side now down the front straightaway. Down into turn number 1, Kissweather will hold the lead. So O'Brien sitting in 2nd right now, with Parker sitting in 3rd. Steve Maggio currently in 4th right now, but 1 second back from the top 3. It's just waiting the wings of all 3 of them maybe get together. Kissweather still holds the lead. As well, if he could have a gap between him, and Parker, in positions here, that could be more points going to his way. And just whether definitely a strong driver, but he knows Jonathan Parker is a dominant driver, has been dominant all season long, is very strong at Charlotte and some of the, and these other in Bristol, the other tracks in the championship 4. So he knows if you have the opportunity, you want to try and get as much of an advantage over your competitors as much as you can, especially in a 3-race round. Having the advantage going into the final 3 races is such an advantage. You don't have to worry about. You do have to worry about maybe getting caught up in an incident. But you don't have to worry about getting. But if you can just stay close to the driver that's behind you in points, say Marcus, whether or not, it just doesn't have to be next week. It just doesn't have to be next week versus Jonathan Parker just goes up there and dominates. If Kiswell has a little bit of advantage going into next week, he can just stay a little bit closer. Just stay a little close. As long as he just doesn't completely have a bad race, he still maybe come out of Bristol tied at the worst. He can just stay a little bit close next week if he gets a big advantage coming to the pads tonight here in Michigan. So that seems to be the goal right now. All of these drivers looking to try and take as much points off the board as possible. Here this time by will be 38 laps to go, looking to maybe about 5 to 10 laps for that final pit stop. Oh, but O'Brien looks like he got to the wall off of turn number 2. Cost him some time. Currently making happy Mark Missweather sitting there in the race lead. O'Brien still in second. He's top 3, still very close on the racetrack right now, though. Neither of them want to give it away. Comes O'Brien down to the inside, gonna get side by side here with Mark Kisselweather. He was side by side for the race lead down the front straightaway. He's trying to side trap Kisselweather back. This looks good for O'Brien. Now he can try to pull the slider. He's got the nose on the bottom. That seems to be he's gonna be able to do it. He's gonna have the big advantage through the inside of the corner. He's gonna slide up in front of Kisweather to take the race lead back, but he's getting the outside wall. That allows Kisweather to drive back. Mark Kisweather able to drive back by into turn number 1. It takes the lead back away from Matthew O'Brien. And O'Brien just keeps the wall off turn number 2. The question is, when these drivers have to pit, they're 27 laps. They're gonna have to pit soon. I believe 34 laps is the max they can go. So they can probably pit now and make it to the finish, but they also don't want to go too early. Just in case of if we get a caution flag tonight. Jones Peak designs caution flag. I've yet to see one tonight so far. Drivers going to keep it that way, so it's just they can keep it between these 3. And each one of them also just hoping they can get a pit stop and maybe just drive away. Not have to worry about everybody else to do so. They can just get back to just click off the laps and get it back to the checker. 33 laps to go in the final pit window now. We can see if anyone makes it or tries to make a big undercut here. Let's keep in mind, Stephen Maggio 6/10 back. He's in this window to make an opportunity as well. If he can pit early, take the undercut. Kind of stuck in that dirty air bubble. If he pits early and makes the undercut, just drivers get battling trying to get on pit road. He can pit early and try and try and jump the rest of these guys, and then he can have the clean air and try and block the rest of the field. It looks like Jonathan Parker's staying pretty low on the racetrack here. He's getting pretty low exit. Does not come down pit road, maybe thinking he would. Then these drivers living close on the racetrack all night long. Trying to climb though, they're pushing. He's pushing Josh Arnold forward as they're trying to get to Zach Ramirez, and Zach Ramirez trying to get back up to Steven Angio and the rest of the field. Not too big, so it's not too big of a gap, but all those drivers still not out of this one. So getting out of the top 7, still in an out, still in a shot. Maybe some outside shots to still win this race. Still, they need 3 seconds of a lot to catch for Giovanni Klein to get back up the race lead. They still are completely out of this one. It's a strategy, right? Also, you got to think the tire strategy as well. These drivers probably might take 2 tires. He's trying to get out in front as well, so that's definitely usually the better option here in this next shit car. Zach Ramirez, he is down pit road. He was the first driver to pit last time by. It looks like he's the first driver to pit again. He's going to come down here with 31 laps to go. He's going to try to jump the field. His last time by, last pit stop, he did not have last pit cycle. It was a little bit slower. Matthew O'Brien working back to the bottom. Once again, side by side into 1. These drivers battling for the race lead. That's going to help Zach Ramirez on the fresh tires just coming out of pit road. Zach Ramirez, he took 4 tires. Well, he actually had a 12-second stop, so a little bit quick with a 4-car stop, so maybe a really slow 2-tire stop. But side by side now down the back straightaway into turn number 3. O'Brien. Can he clear in front of Kissweather? This is going to help Steve Maggio close the gap back in. Now O'Brien is going to dive down the pit road here. Matthew O'Brien dives down the pit road. Can he get it slowed down? Yes, he does. Mark Kissweather inherits the race lead now. Where does Zach Ramirez? Where does he cycle back out? As he's actually just came right out in front of Josh Arnold. So kind of where he was looking, exactly where he was before. And he's got the first tires, he can try and close the gap back in. Making good progress, but Zach Ramirez trying to maybe make the undercut happen, but Jonathan Parker on the bottom as actually Mark Kissweather checks up to the outside, tries to get down the pit road. Steve Maggio follows him as well, so Jonathan Parker stays out a little bit longer. Now O'Brien took 4 tires, and now he comes out of pit road now. Where is Zachary Meredith? Zachary Meredith coming in through turn number 1. Zachary Meredith with the undercut. Looks like he's going to net the race lead here. He was our pole sitter. He led pretty much the entirety of the first run. Did not have the great first pit cycle the first time by. Now he's looking to come back after the second pit cycle and try and take the net race lead, take the lead away. He's going to have the sharp position right now, but he doesn't have much of a gap over Matthew O'Brien, about 7/10 of a second. Here comes Mark Kissweather, Steve Maggio coming off of pit road. Now where does Zachary Meredith come out at? There's also Giovanni Klein coming off pit road here as well, but Matthew O'Brien, Zachary Meredith, are they going to get out in front of Steve Maggio? I don't think they will. They will get out in front of Steve Maggio. They're going to have the run on Mark Kissweather down the back straightaway. Mark Kissweather going to have a slightly fresher tires though. Everyone taking 4 tires. As Zachary Meredith, he will get out in front of the lead, maybe. They're going to slide up in front of Mark Kissweather, and he will take that lead away. But where does Jonathan Parker, where does he come out at? He takes 4 tires, he'll get off of pit road. Josh Arnold still stays on the racetrack, but Zachary Meredith looks like he's going to net the race lead, but he's got to catch Jonathan Parker on the apron. 2.5 seconds is the gap. They're going to go side by side through turn 1 and 2. They're going to have the run, but Jonathan Parker looking strong, getting up to speed. He's a 1.5 seconds out in front, and now going into the corner, he also has the fresher tires, and that is going to be a really big gain for Jonathan Parker, as now he will take the net race lead by about 1.5 seconds. So these drivers really have to work together if they want to have a chance at this race win. Now, this was similar to the last pit stop. Matthew O'Brien got to about a second and a half lead, but they did claw them back in, claw O'Brien back in. As also Arnold came down pit road. He's out of pit road now. Everyone has made their final stop of the night. Everyone took 4 tires for that last pit stop, but now the gap is 1 second for Jonathan Parker to Mark Kissweather. So now it's a 5-car battle for the win, as it's Jonathan Parker out by about a second, and it's Mark Kissweather, Matthew O'Brien, Steve Maggio on this pack, and the Cole Center 1 lap down. This pack together. These 4 looking to try and chase down Jonathan Parker to take this race win away. As that Mark Kissweather looking to try and beat Jonathan Parker and try and get a point advantage for the championship. But looking strong still. About a 0.7 of a second gap. He's got 24 laps to go. Try and hold on to this, but now Zach Meredith and Matthew O'Brien side by side down the back straightaway there. Just slow him up just a tad. Steve Maggio dives down on the inside. Mark Kissweather by 0.6 of a second. So trying to close the gap. Half a second back now. He's also gained a gap to the cars behind him. So we could have a championship battle for this race win here tonight. Now this is down to 4/10. Mark Kissweather slowly closing the gap in. You know, overheat the tires here, trying to chase him down, but now you're going to get within that dirty air bubble, and that's going to be much tougher to break through, as they are still side by side for third up between Meredith and O'Brien, and that's going to slow them up. So it might be a 2-car battle here for the race win, as Kissweather, O'Brien, and Maggio have not been able to close the gap into the race either. O'Brien still in 4th. O'Brien trying to get his way by Meredith. I think he thinks he might have the speed. He just can't get by Meredith, as Meredith seems to be slowing him down a little bit. But now they're going to be side by side off the back straightaway once again. They slot back in line as they were closing the gap a little bit now. Back to Parker. As Kissweather now within 0.3 of a second. He used to go way up the racetrack. He's just trying to find some clean air to gain on Jonathan Parker. And now it's 20 laps to go. You see Jonathan Parker going on to the apron, just trying to break the draft, trying to keep as much gap as he can. Doesn't want to have Mark Kissweather keep within striking distance. Gap still 0.2 of a second. Jonathan Parker now under attack from Mark Kissweather. Kissweather on the back bumper. He looks to the outside. They're battling for third behind him as well. This is gonna help them pull away. As Kissweather not able to get to the outside, but they side by side as O'Brien cannot get by Meredith. Still stuck about 0.7 of a second back. But now Maggio has an opportunity to get down to the bottom of O'Brien. This 4th place spot, not gonna be able to do it though. Kissweather run off of turn number 4, gonna try and get the draft down the first straightaway. Parker's trying to break the draft now. These two get side by side. This could help the rest of the drivers behind him start to catch up. As Kissweather, he's just staying to the top lane. He's been out of the top lane this whole run. Officer number 2 down the back straightaway. Parker in the lead. Kissweather with a good draft. He's now within a 10. He's trying to make a move, but he's sticking to the top lane. He does not want to go to the bottom. He knows the bottom lane is going to be easy for Parker to defend, and Parker's going up to the wall as well, trying to block off Kissweather. This will allow the drivers behind him closing out a little bit through the corners, but also they're battling together, not losing time off the corners. So O'Brien, he's been trying to work the bottom, but just can't get by Zachary Meredith here. And I think this might be his opportunity here. He's going to slide up in front of Zachary Meredith off of turn number 2. And he will. So now he's trying to chase down Mark Kissweather with a little bit of contact. Maybe Meredith slides way up the racetrack. They're still going to be side by side, but O'Brien had the opportunity to clear through 1 and 2. He got the move done off the corner. And they're going to go side by side still for third through turn 3 and 4. They're still going to stay side by side, dead even now as they're losing the bleeding time to the race leaders. Staying side by side, O'Brien just wants to get this move done. He knows he has the pace to catch the race leaders. If he can just get in front of Zachary Meredith. Now Zachary Meredith trying to hold on to third. He knows he has a little bit of tire disadvantage. Just sticks behind Matthew O'Brien here. Might have an opportunity to close the gap down to Mark Kissweather and Jonathan Parker. Because you know Kissweather will try to make the move. And they're going to start the battle. So 1 second back. You want to try and gain as much time as possible. It's going to be a little bit tougher, but it looks like they settled it down a little bit. 15 laps to go here from Michigan. Now Kissweather with a really good run on the outside lane, not able to get to the outside of Parker just yet. He's still staying within a 10, just can't break that bubble. Now he stays right behind him, follows his tire tracks to ignore O'Brien and the rest of the field, rest of the pack behind him. Just tries to go to the bottom, tries to break, tries to find some clean air. Down the bottom goes Kissweather. You haven't really seen him try that at the inside just yet, but he's making it work now. Down the back straightaway. Whether he fights down to the bottom, gonna stay trying to fight side by side, can't get there. He's almost to the inside though. He actually gets to the outside wall a little bit. That's gonna allow Parker to pull away. But O'Brien slowly creeping in. He's down to 7/10 of a second as Meredith and Maggio have fallen off his back bumper and taken that pressure. As they're gonna battle for fourth now as Maggio tries to work to the outside of Meredith. Meredith's gonna shut the door on him. They're gonna force him to push down the front straightaway. Back Maggio off just a little bit. O'Brien trying to make something happen in third. Maggio gets by Zachary Meredith there. He's now up to fourth. O'Brien trying to make something happen. He's half a second back from the back bumper of Mark Kissweather. Mark Kissweather right up against the outside wall. Ripping the outside wall just like it's Homestead. Didn't really work out from there. Kind of helped him stay even with Jonathan Parker, but it's just so tough to get the pass done. Especially with the clean air of Jonathan Parker. Zachary Meredith, Mark Kissweather looks a little bit better through the bottom in 1 and 2, but then he just doesn't get the run off. Allows Parker to pull away. And just hurts the next corner. Seems like 1 and 2 seems to be the better on the bottom for Mark Kissweather. He just has to get to the inside of Jonathan Parker and try to side draft him off the corner, but he has not been able to do it just yet. Jonathan Parker's just been able to hold just enough momentum to pull away. It's really been working out for him in 1 and 2. Marcus seems like he runs the outside when he wants to try to make the move to the bottom. It seems like the move is going to be the bottom at 1 and 2. If he can get side by side with Jonathan Parker, maybe try to pull the slider in 3 and 4. But now he goes to the outside at 1 and 2 here. He's got the cleaner up top, but it looks a little bit tight. And he's almost gets to the outside wall. It's going to slow up his exit a little bit, but he's still going to have a slightly better run than Jonathan Parker down in the 3. Now Kisswither, you'd think he would go to the top lane here in 3 and 4, but no, he's going to go back down to the bottom now. Trying to get some clean air, just trying to follow the clean air. O'Brien slowly lurking in. He's also kind of trying to break that dirty air bubble as well, but 9 to go now. Jonathan Parker just been able to stay out in front, just throwing the air blocks. Just Kisswither cannot find his way by. Just clean air is just king in this next gen car. And so far, Parker looking like he's trying to cruise it on into a win here this first round of the championship 4. But Kisswither gets to the wall at 3 and 4. Got way too high up the racetrack. And that's going to cost him some time. And that's actually going to cost him a lot of time. That cost him about 0.2 of a second crucial time. And also going to run into O'Brien a little bit. Down the back straightaway. Marcus, whether it looks like he's maybe a little bit loose, he drives way low. But Parker goes down to the very bottom. He goes down all the way down to the yellow line. Haven't really seen him do that in a while, but it works out for him. He doesn't really lose much of his time, but he's going to try and break the drive from Marcus, whether has a better run. He brings it down to about 0.2 of a second now. Then he goes back to the top lane. In 1 and 2 with here with 7 laps to go. Just not able to break the dirty air bubble. Just working well for Jonathan Parker right now. But he's going to the bottom of 3 and 4. He's going to the bottom of 3 and 4. Gains a little bit of time through the corner, but Kisswither seems a little bit stronger. He gains about 1.5 on the front straightaway. Roughly about the same as that time by, but now Kisswither drives it in very deep into 1 and 2. Sends it in very deep. Almost gets to the inside of Jonathan Parker, but he gets very tight. He's going to hit the outside wall. Kisswither had a Hail Mary move there, trying to make something happen. And I don't think that's going to play out well for him. It's now actually Matthew O'Brien going to go around the outside in 3 and 4. Now they're over half a second back from Jonathan Parker. Now does Matthew O'Brien, does he have anything? Can he chase down Jonathan Parker here with 5 laps to go? He needs to be about 1/10 of a lap faster. He wants to have an opportunity. Mark Kisswither though, I think his tires just started to give out. He just couldn't make anything happen. He gets out to the outside wall again in turn number 2. But O'Brien now, he's got a little bit more clean air. He doesn't have to worry about Mark Kisswither. Jonathan Parker looking to try and pick up another win. Matthew O'Brien running a little bit lower as well, but has a little bit of dirty air. And I don't think he's going to be able to get the run off the corner here. To chase down Jonathan Parker. 4/6 of a second with 4 laps to go. He's making the move, making the gap. He's closing enough of the gap, but it's also just going to be like Mark Kisswither. Can he break the dirty air bubble? I don't think he will be able to. It's just so much clean air, such a big advantage. 3/10 of a second. I think O'Brien, he's going to have to try and start taking the way outside lane. He's got to try and make a big run off the corner. Stays pretty much right above that second seam there. Through 3 and 4, but he gets tight. It's a little bit dirtier off the exit of the corner. He's going to slow him down here with 3 laps to go. Can't break with about 0.3 of a second right now. Just trying to stay into the high lane, trying to make something happen. Can he gain enough? Jonathan Parker still in the race lead by 0.3 of a second. Matthew O'Brien sticking to the top lane. Trying to just manage the runs off the corner. But Jonathan Parker just playing it perfectly right now. 2 laps to go. 4 miles left to go for Jonathan Parker to win the first round of the championship round. And this time by, he has a 0.3 of a second gap. O'Brien just doesn't have enough for him. Just can't close the gap. And off at turn number 4. 1 lap to go for Jonathan Parker. Their go time cars, 1 to go here from Michigan. And Jonathan Parker has been dominant all season long. He has 5 wins on the season. He has 11 stage wins. And tonight he entered as the championship favorite, looking to defend his title from last season. Yeah, a different format this year. He has 3 others to battle it out with in the next 3 races. And tonight he's going to go out with a statement. Off of turn number 4, Jonathan Parker. He wants to defend his title. He's going to win at Michigan. And he's going to make it much harder for the other 3. Jonathan Parker wins at Michigan. He thought Mark Kissler might have something for him. But Jonathan Parker comes out and wins with a very good final pit stop, and he just took the lead and just able to hold off in that entire final run there. Now he's going to try. He's going to be the points leader. It's going to make it much more difficult. Trying to make it more difficult for the other 3 competitors he's battling with for this championship to try and beat him. Does victory lap, and he's going to go all the way down to turn number 1. Oh, yeah, Cole Steiner flipped over there in turn number 1. Jonathan Parker will turn it around. He'll be able to park it in Pizza and Wings Gaming Victory Lane here tonight. But Jonathan Parker celebrating here. He does his Polish victory lap here for Michigan. Looking to try and win his back-to-back championships. As he will go to Bristol, the favorite. While Jonathan Parker celebrates, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here for Michigan.
NJBDesigns.com, we specialize in transforming your vehicle into a work of art by revolutionizing the way you see your car with the hottest trends in sim racing. Choose from a wide range of colors, textures, finishes to promote your business and sponsors in style. Whether you're looking to add a sleek matte finish, a flashy chrome accent, or a custom design that turns heads, our designers have you covered. If you want to stand out in the crowd, visit NJBDesigns.com today and let our team of professionals transform your vision into reality.
Welcome back here to Michigan as you just wrapped up the opener of their championship 4 round, and Jonathan Parker was able to take the win. Before we get to our post-race interviews, let's take a quick look at tonight's results here from Michigan. As it was, Jonathan Parker, our favorite and our defending champion, looking to try and back his championship up. He wins tonight, and he'll extend his points lead over the rest of the championship 4. Matthew O'Brien finishing second tonight. Stephen Maggio in third. We'll talk to those three in just a moment. Marcus Weather finishing fourth tonight. Zach Mammoth in fifth. Josh Holman in sixth. John Osborne in seventh. Jose Rose in eighth. Sam Wade in ninth. And running our top 10 at Cole Center. 11th will be the night of Chase McGuire. Giovanni Klein finishing 12th tonight. Mike Campbell 13th. Kyle Tobin 14th. And Gabriel Hari running out 15th. Our 15 car field here tonight. But out in front, it was Jonathan Parker able to dominate tonight. Able to dominate after that final pit stop. He was able to dominate to the end of that and lead that entire last run. And we'll take it down at the Pizza Wings Gaming, a victory lane as Jonathan Parker, our race winner here tonight. What was going through your head that final run is you were able to make a really good pit stop there late and just hold off to the rest of the field.
Yeah, just eat my dirty air. That was that was my thought, because it became very apparent that this is a track position race. The tires weren't wearing too bad. That's why I took 2 on the last stop, and just to give myself the track position. And I tried to keep it at a distance, but the fresh tires did eventually get there, and I just had to air block. And that was all strategy. I don't know who the fastest car was. I don't think anyone would know, because it's just it was just such a track position race. So I was just trying to push as hard as I can, make Mark or whoever it was behind me eat my dirty air. And I think towards the end of the run I was able to cool my tires enough to keep a gap constant. But other than that, I didn't win this one with any pace. I won this by just using my brain.
Yeah, you're able to get the lead and just kind of block, like you were saying, with dirty air. But just how tough was it to try and, like, because you did have to work your way back up through the pack a little bit in those first few runs. Just how tough was it out there the past tonight, and especially how was that tire wear out there as well?
Tire wear, there wasn't a lot. Just kind of, it was kind of dependent on how many laps you had on your tires. I assume if we would have had a caution, you could have cooled those things off and been just fine for a couple laps. So, yeah, it was very tough to pass. You just basically had to get to someone's right rear. And I overestimated how much tire wear would matter that first run. That's why I lost a couple spots. I lost a couple stage points because of that, which that does sting, but getting the win does make up for that. And otherwise, it was just about trying to keep my car rotated, and that's usually wherever the clean air was. And there wasn't a lot of people running the bottom of 3 or 4, so I use that to my advantage and just navigating through the dirty air, using strategy. We came home with a victory.
Yeah, you're able to get the win, and you now look, I believe you'll be the points leader heading into Bristol next week and able to try and defend your championship. But before we send off on the way, any sponsor to thank for tonight's race win?
I'd like to thank Lowe's, Cobalt Tools, and Meliella. And I'd like to thank everyone out there. It was a pretty clean race for the most part there, so I will give a shout out to the whole field there. Shout out to Mark and Josh Arnold and Cole Snyder, the Championship 4. In particular, we kept it. We raced hard. I was around all of them at some point, so we raced hard, but we raced clean, and that's the best part. We can race hard and race clean, put on a show for you guys. Shout out to y'all in the booth, and shout out to Christian Pacheco as well.
And once again, congrats on your race win here tonight. We'll see you next week at Bristol.
Thank you.
So that was our race winner of Jonathan Parker here tonight. What a great win for him, as now he will be able to be the points leader going into Bristol next week with 2 races left to go on the season. But now we will shift our focus to our second place finisher of Matthew O'Brien here tonight. As you're able to drive your way up through the field, you were leading after that first round of pit stops, so just got cycled back a little bit there in that final run. But yeah, it had an opportunity in those last few laps to chase down Parker for the race lead. What do you think it could have done differently there to maybe try and get by him?
Be able to defy the laws of physics. Yeah, that was like behind the wheel, just from like a racing perspective, that was pretty miserable. There's just not enough off throttle time, so you're kind of stuck. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, Parker took 2, so he kind of was gonna jump me regardless. Didn't help that I slipped through my box on the last stall a little bit, but he was still gonna be ahead of me, and I don't think I would have been able to do anything if I was there even a few laps sooner. But yeah, it would have taken a massive mistake from Parker for me to actually do anything there at the end.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you kind of mentioned Parker took 2 there, but you had the gap out in front earlier after that first pit stop. So kind of what was going through your head there through that second pit stop, and just how tough was it to get on off pit road, and you think maybe any different strategy calls you would have made to try and get out in front like you did the first stop?
I wouldn't really do anything strategy-wise different, but I wish I could have been a little more aggressive on the entry, but how the sun was positioned the entire race, I kind of use the transition between the actual track and apron. There's the line shifts from yellow to white, and that's how I use my braking into pit entry. But the glare, you couldn't even tell, so I probably could have gained a little time there. But yeah, that was pretty track position heavy. After that first stop, I had that huge lead. It didn't matter how hard I drove because the draft of 3 other cars would just be faster, so they would eventually catch me, and that kind of happened again on the second run there too.
Yeah, but overall, you were still able to pick up a very solid second place finish here tonight. But before we send off on the way, any sponsor would you like to thank for tonight's second place run?
Thanks to everyone that runs the show. It was nice to have a caution-free race, and all the races I've done have been pretty good in here. Only thing is just tonight the combo was kind of meh, but it is what it is. Nothing anyone could have done about that.
And once again, congrats on your second place finish tonight. We'll see you next week at Bristol.
Yep, you have a good one.
So there's our second place finisher tonight of Matthew J. O'Brien. And now we'll turn our attention to our third place finisher tonight here of Steven Maggio. Our third place finisher here tonight. You're kind of after that first pit stop, you're kind of on the back foot the whole kind of last run there. But you're still able to pick up a very solid third place run here tonight. Just kind of what was going through your head there, especially after that first pit stop, to try and close that gap back in to the race leaders. And what do you think differently there to maybe try and be up there to try and fight for that race win?
I think my only mistake tonight was I slid through my box on the first pit stall. I had a really, really good pit entry. I passed Mark, and I got right to I don't even remember who it was, but I got right to the bumper of someone else, and then I slipped in my pit stall, so it didn't even matter, and I still came up behind Mark anyway. And that just, I lost like a 1.3 seconds from that, and it just kind of, like you said, it put me on my back foot, and I was just struggling the whole rest of the run to stay in the draft. Like that whole middle run, I was around half a second to 8/10ths back, and I was just like barely hanging on to the draft, and I was pushing hard, and I never could really close in that distance. And then yeah, I was debating taking 2, but I ended up taking 4, and I don't think it was the right call, but I don't even know if I would have won on 2 tires. It was just a really bizarre race. There was 0 tire wear, and it just seemed like track position meant everything because the dirty air was unbearable. So I think really I just needed to not slide through my pit stall, and I would have had better physical on track. Like I would have been ahead of a couple guys. Because I was in 4th, but I was still 8/10ths to the leader, so it wasn't like I was really like falling back. And even the first run, I think I pit from 7th, and I was 9/10ths behind the leader. So it wasn't like your time to the leader mattered. It was just you had to physically be in front of cars because the dirty air made it almost impossible to pass. I think that was really the only thing I messed up. So yeah.
Yeah, once again, well, you're still able to pick up a very solid 3rd place run, but you're just trying to struggling all night long, kind of within that dirty air and draft. So just how tough was it out there tonight, trying to get moves done, and trying to gain some time?
It was brutal, man. I mean, this is one of the worst races I've ever done in terms of trying to avoid the dirty air. I think every single lap I was running even if it was a obviously worse line, I was just running it anyway to be not behind someone's dirty air, and passing was horrible. I had 3 lap fresher tires than Zachary there on that final run, and Matthew had 2, and Matthew took forever to get by him, and then he did finally, and I cleared Meredith, and he crossed me over, and I don't know if he's on auto blip or what the hell was going on, but he crosses me over and slide jobs me in 3 and 4, and then shifts on the exit of 4, and it slows his car down, and it like almost doesn't brake check me because it wasn't a huge slowdown, but it like that was what it did, and it slowed me down the whole front stretch, and I was like, come on, man. So I mean, I went into 1, and I was just I kind of used them up a little bit, but I just got really frustrated at that point. You're on older tires, and you're doing everything you possibly can to hold people up that are clearly faster and going to get by you anyway. I don't know why delay the process and slow yourself down in the process, but that kind of cost me time to Matthew, and so I'd lost their draft from that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, 3 lap fresher tires and still had to do all that just to get 1 spot. It was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, but you're still able to pick up a very solid 3rd place finish here tonight. But before you're signing off anyway, any sponsor link for tonight's 3rd place run?
No, I just thank you to Josh Arnold for running the league and allowing us to race. Caution-free races are awesome, especially now in iRacing when it seems like every league's having a million cautions. And thank you to you in the booth for broadcasting. Always fun to watch broadcasts. It definitely enhances the league, and that's about it.
Let's go. Congrats on your 3rd place finish here tonight. We'll see you next week in Bristol.
Yep, have a good night.
So there's our 3rd place finisher of Steven Maggio here tonight from Michigan, as it wraps up our first race of the round of 4, as it is definitely it was definitely a fun one tonight. It went green all the way. We still kind of a thrilling battle time to kind of the finish, but just Jonathan Parker able to play the dirty air, play the clean air game out in front, is able to make it work. But it's definitely a fun one here tonight from Michigan. Coming up next year on the Legends Racing Network. Next Wednesday, we'll have the Superstar Arca West at Michigan at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Thursday, we'll have the Quantum Contender Series at Charlotte at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. And next Friday night, we'll have the race number 2 of the Championship 4 for the NAOR Cup Series at Bristol next week. It was definitely a fun one here from Michigan. So long here from Michigan. We'll see you next time here on the Legends Racing Network.